to you live from my home studio in beautiful La Puente, California. This is the All Dodgers podcast, and I sound a lot better right now than I feel. I tell you what, guys, it's good to be back. I am back from my deathbed. I will tell you, I'll bring in our boy here, producer Kevin. I'll tell you, we had something pretty cool cooked up last week. The plan was to do a whole pregame, postgame, and watch party for opening day. I had nice shit set up here on YouTube. It was going to be a lot of fun, and then my body said nope. And I've pretty much been sidelined up until a couple of hours ago. Been in and out of it, but we are back. We are live. We are alive, and I'm feeling good. How are you doing, my friend? Hopefully better than me.
Oh, definitely. Better than you, better than Freddie. Haven't fallen in the shower. Haven't had to call life alert because I've fallen and can't get up. No, I've been just peachy. Good to be back. Glad baseball's back with the weirdest start to a MLB season that I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, this has definitely been a weird. Maybe that's what it is. I think I appreciate also. I want to pause and say I appreciate all the love and care and interest that people have had in checking in on me over the last couple of days, wondering where the hell I've been and all that. It means a lot that people care that I'm alive or not. I'm wondering if all of the everything that was March finally caught up to me as well. I mean, bottom line is my boss at my Flesh People job got me sick. And now the house is sick, so that's fun. Shout out to Boss Man. But also going to spring training, being out there for 8 days, doing all that stuff there, coming back to a pair of 3 a.m. opening day starts, and then a week off, and then opening day and all this. I think my body just said, like, look, man, we're gonna sit back all weekend. And I watched all of the original X-Men series again, so that was a thing, because I hadn't watched them. We're not, guys. We're eventually going to get into Dodgers talk. Bear with us for a second. I hadn't watched a lot of it because I remember watching X-Men 1 and I was like, this movie is so bad. I don't care about the rest. Like, it's bad in like it's a good bad, but when it came out, it wasn't what I was interested in. It's like so bad. It's so campy. It's just the pacing is terrible. The acting is not very good. It was a rush job. Then X2, I'm like, oh, this is how it became a franchise. And The Last Stand, it's like, wait, what happened here a little bit? Yeah. And then for some reason they're young again, and then things come together. Anyways, Doomsday Cast.
Oh, so you went through like Days of Futures Past and First Class and all. Okay.
Yeah, I had to do it that way. I didn't watch Apocalypse again. That one I remember, that was garbage. Dark Phoenix.
I haven't seen that one.
That's garbage. But
I forgot that movie even existed. I haven't seen
Why did they do the Phoenix again? Why would they? All right, guys, sorry. There's enough of that. If you guys want more, I guess we'll call it pop culture, you could tune into our buddy Blake Williams on Dodger Blue. He loves that kind of stuff. But yeah, on today's show, guys, we're going to catch up on the things that we haven't talked about in a while with your Dodgers. Been gone for a little bit. So let's rapid fire and dive into first, before I dive into stuff, I should tell you guys that BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. You should be using BetOnline right now as we get into the Final Four, because Final Four is upon us. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while games are being played, with the largest selection of odds on everything from college basketball to MLB, NHL, UFC, even the Kentucky Derby, much to the enjoyment of for our friend Walker Bueller. NFL season futures as well. It's all ready for you to bet on. In between games, head over to the BetOnline casino. They have all the top Vegas style games, including poker, and there's a live casino. There's a lot going on there. If you go check it out, it helps support me, supports the network, supports the show, all that kind of stuff. BetOnline, the game starts here. The show resumes now. And again, we are finally back. What have we been up to? What have more so the Dodgers been up to? Well, the Dodgers been up to not losing. That's a good thing. What do you want to touch on first when we're talking about, what we've kind of missed in these last few days?
Start with Tommy Edman being a god at second base. Like, we heard that he was good, like he's a Gold Glove caliber second baseman, and then he wins the entire game for the Dodgers in the ninth inning. So That was like not expected at all. We were talking about, or at least I had mentioned, maybe there's a platoon where Tommy Edman plays center field against right-handed pitching, and then against left-handed pitching, you get Pages in there in center field. And after that game, I don't want Tommy Edmonds playing anything but second base ever, because he is that good. It's incredible how good he is.
That ninth inning, like where he single-handedly put the team on his back to get to that eventual walk-off win for Mookie. That was some of the more impressive shit. That scoop. And we're seeing a lot of short hops, by the way, early goings here for Max Muncy. We'll talk Max Muncy later on in the stream. I'm seeing some people really wanting to talk about Michael Conforto in the stream and the lineup construction. We'll talk about that also a little bit later as we spin forward in the stream. But that throw, I didn't know Tommy Tanks had that kind of rifle on him, man. That throw up the middle, just and to keep it as straight as he did, had a little bit of tail. Thankfully, Freddie Freeman is a long boy, and that was sexy. And then how quick he got that throw off as well on the relay from Teoscar Hernandez, who also perfect throw in for that relay.
And Tommy did a great job of. He took it off the hop, but he inched himself closer to home when he caught the ball. So he took the ball's momentum with him in the transfer. Like, he's a ball player, picture perfect. It's just, the dude is a ball player.
He's a ball player.
Don't put him in center ever. I don't. They'll figure between Pages and Outman, they can figure something else out. My God, just leave Tommy at second.
Hey, like our buddy Scotty Gearman says, ball players know, ball knowers know, and ball knowers know that Tommy Edman is kind of the real deal, man. He's kind of the real deal. He's a damn good player, and who would also had him leading the team in homers? What, three bomb doggies so far this season?
Did he get one left-handed yet? I think he got one left-handed.
Yeah, I think that was in Tokyo. They got two.
No, I think it was or 2 days ago. I don't know. I think he got one left-handed though. Either way, his left-handed swing's looking better.
Getting some more love in the chat, by the way, saying people welcoming me back. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Richie Flores in the chat. BC. Chris is in the chat. Chris Faborg, I should say. Ray Soto. Kenny Chung. BC. Good to see everybody. Our buddy Phil Fountain also in the chat, who had his own business with sickness. I guess it's just that time of the year, guys. Appreciate everybody being here. OCJ hanging out in the chat. Getting Tommy, having Tommy around for 5 more years, 4 more years after this, you feel good, and you feel, once again, confident the Dodgers know what they're doing. Another thing, where in the early throws, we feel good about saying the Dodgers know what they're doing. We also can say, I feel good about saying Mookie Betts knows what he's doing with his body, because the last time we were on, we were talking about, like, hey, if you're down 17 pounds or whatever it is, maybe take a couple of games off. And then he proceeded to put the team on his back and flipping us birds along the way, saying, no, I got this. 2-homer game in there, the walk-off, just enough slug, the 160-pound homers, as he was calling it. And we haven't seen anything exceptional out of him at shortstop yet, because there haven't really been any plays, but you haven't seen anything bad out of him. So my whole point here is, like, we're just catching up on quick Dodgers headlines before we get into, more relevant stuff today. Mookie was right. I just wanted to throw that out there. Mookie was right.
Yep. Again, ball knowers know, a professional athlete. He knows his body better than everyone. I love the stuff he's come out and said about kind of this, like, rehabbing process where he's just, like, eating constantly. He's talking about chefs, plural, which, I mean, that's crazy to have 2. He's eating during the games. That's, just what he's doing to get his body right again. And we've seen 0 fall off from his illness. He's come back and just done Mookie Betts things. He gets productive outs. He's not striking out. Everything is looking just, it's Mookie freaking Betts, man. So I'm happy he's around and happy he's a Dodger. And he seems to be very happy he's a Dodger, which I love personally.
Yeah. What did he say that to Dave Vassay? Like, I love being a Dodger. God, you love hearing that stuff. And
got that LA on his hat.
Can't wait till
and the
he.
Hog look good.
Oh, by the way, if we're talking about that, I did add to the collection. I had to get the gold.
Oh, you did.
For
Okay.
now.
Hat forward.
Because you know what, it sucks at the back. The backs should have been gold. Come on, New Era. What are we doing here? Couple more shout out Elisheva Pinsanity. Elisheva, nice comment there. Definitely missed your show, Clint and Kevin. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Also, our friend Jeff Snyder in the chat as well. Of course, the superstar host of Locked On Dodgers, at least when his channel isn't being overrun by poor network management. But that's a different story. Appreciate you hanging out with us, Jeffrey. Let's get together on some content very soon, my friend, because it feels like too long since we've talked baseball with Jeff. But let's talk about a couple other things with pitching, and then we'll keep trending forward. But I just want to look back at the week that was his first week for the Dodgers. Glasnow shoved last night. Tyler Glasnow. This was a dude I think you are more high on him than I was entering the season, just because, like, I don't know. I'm at a point where I don't want to get hurt again by him getting hurt again. So, but to see last night, that was an impressive showing. It's been an impressive showing for everybody in that starting rotation, but one guy, Snell was solid. Yamamoto dealt. Roki struggling. Everybody else getting their innings. They're getting their strikeouts. Roki Sasaki, we're not going to sit here and try to be like clowning on him or anything, or saying something dumb about him crying, because I appreciate the care, the passion that the kid has. That's how they play the game, with a lot more emotion in Japan than we do here. They're willing to share their emotions on share it to the world. But also, we're seeing a lot of that not ready for prime time in these first two starts for Roki Sasaki. What have you liked, and what have you more so disliked, and what are the biggest concerns in your eyes as the expert you are in Roki Sasaki? Where you at?
They're really, the only thing to really like is his splitter plays. It's like just the shape, the velocity. It's as advertised, but that's really the only thing. What's concerning is that he can't find the strike zone at all with anything. He's missing arm side a lot, which we know, if you're a pitcher and you're missing arm side, that's a pretty big, either you're injured or it's a very large mechanical issue. So there's something going on there. And he's not missing close. I mean, he's missing way into the right-handed batter's box. So it's seriously concerning. That being said, this was a real possibility for me. I knew him coming over from Japan. He wasn't a pinpoint accuracy guy like Yamamoto. He also wasn't this inaccurate in Japan. I mean, we saw him in the WBC perform at the highest stage, but this was a real possibility of he's just got to get used to a lot. He is a prospect. I always viewed him as a prospect. People were talking about him like he was the next coming of Paul Skeens. That wasn't happening. He wasn't a runaway for Rookie of the Year for me. It was just, this is a kid with really, really raw stuff that plays, but he's going to have to hone it. He's going to have to refine it, and he's just not there yet, and that's all right. He's not broken. He's 23 years old. He's adjusting to a lot all at once. So yeah, is he struggling a bit? Sure. Yeah. He's taking his lumps, and he was going to have to, whether it's now or later, and it's better to happen now.
Yeah. I would ask this question as well. Just kind of throw it out there. I don't think we don't have the answer really, but is it too early to worry about Roki Sasaki? I would say, honestly, if I am an answer, I would say no, it's not too early, but worry is a strong word, because like everything you just said, we knew he's not a finished product. We knew that there was going to be some learning curve in there. He hasn't been absolutely terrible. Like, he's not getting just lit up or whatever. He is losing the ball arm side a lot. He's not finishing on his pitches. He looked really, really mechanically off, and I think he even said as much after his Saturday start. The mechanics were not there. You and I were talking before going live as well, like that split finger. Yeah, I mean, it comes with a lot of noise. It comes with a lot of hype and pomp and circumstance and all this, but it feels a lot to me like, the Gavin Stone changeup 1.0 that we saw in his debut, that major league hitters are spitting on it. They're like when they do swing, they're looking foolish. But after that second start, you didn't see as many swings and misses as you did with the Cubs. You didn't see him look as polished as he did with the Cubs, and then of course, polished still walked 5 against Chicago and in Tokyo and all that. I think it comes down to some of the noise that we've already heard about him. He needs to develop that strong third pitch. The fastball is going to play, but it only plays if it's going to hit the strike zone more consistently. Command is better. If you want to be the man, you got to have command, as my boy D-Mac might say. And start from there. Build from the ground up. Start with your fastball. Start landing that, and then that splitter is going to look a lot better. But I mean, I had kind of said I'm really trying not to take any hard stances here, because when you're talking about kids like this, people want to trash you because they feel like you're trashing the player or whatever. I'm not trashing him. I don't think he's ready. I think we do see him at AAA sooner rather than later. I had initially said mentally, and I had planned on saying on our opening day show that never was. Give me 8 starts. I think I even said it before. Give me 8 starts before we really know what Roki Sasaki is going to be. I might have to tune that back to about 5 starts or something like that, because if we keep seeing the same thing, it's going to keep kind of putting the bullpen at a deficit. And thankfully there's enough off days baked in this first month, but you can't, as you start getting into to April, into May, all that kind of stuff. It's not going to be good for the team. It's not going to be good for the bullpen, running them into the ground, having to pick up 7 or 8 innings, each game or whatever it is. He's going to get better, but he's not, like you said, he's not Paul Skeens. He's not Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He's Roki Sasaki, and he might not be Roki of the Year, or maybe he can build his way up into it. But right now he is, a work in progress. That's what it is. And I'm not horribly worried about him, because mostly because, I should say, this team has so much depth. They have so much depth at starting pitching, and more people are going to keep coming back and being better. And Emmett Sheehan will be an option for this team at some point. Tony Gonson's going to need a spot in this rotation in a week or two. Clayton Kershaw in a month or so. I think that's ultimately, gonna let this team be like, look, you get some time. It's okay. Even Clayton Kershaw went back to AAA at one point. That's, I don't know.
It must be so nice for the organization to be like, hey, you don't get to have an ego about going to AAA, because the guy whose number is going to be retired basically when he does, or as soon as he's inducted, went back to AAA. $4.99 super chat from Richie Flores. Tanner Scott looks great. Sincerely, Captain of the Mechanic. Chris Patrick from the kitchen. Rookie will be fine. We don't need him to shove. More on Tanner Scott in a little bit. I've seen a lot of comments. Alex Renteria mentioning that Rookie is developing a slider. The slider has looked better. It definitely looked better in that second start. He was actually able to land it for a strike a couple times. And a couple people asking why he didn't start in AAA. Alex Renteria again asking that as well. I think when you sign somebody like this, you give him a chance. There's no harm, no foul. Give him a chance. And also at the because if it works, it works, and he's incredible. And if it doesn't, there's no real downside to it. Also, there's something to be said about if you want to stick him in OKC, that's a long way away from Los Angeles, just like geographically speaking.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think the Dodgers have any Japanese players on OKC. I haven't checked their roster, but I think Ha-Seong Kim is the only international player of Asian descent.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the pitcher they drafted last year or they signed last year is there yet either. So if you want to get comfortable, it might be easier to get comfortable with Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Shohei than it is with, no offense to Dalton Rushing, but Dalton Rushing. So there's a couple
that's a phenomenal point for sure. I mean, I didn't really consider that obviously the pitching staff too at the major league level is going to be better than the AAA pitching staff. So having him here in the lab, that was put together at Dodger Stadium, working with Mark Pryor, what's his name? Connor McGinnis. I was going to say Brandon Daniel. Having him work with them, and then also having, his translator, the proper guys in the right channels. Will Ireton talking, and all of these guys. That it's going to be a lot better for him to take at least 5 more starts as a big leaguer. But if he doesn't improve, I guess that's kind of where we ultimately need to lead to. It's like, if he doesn't improve, I'm not saying like, hey, if he has another bad start, send him to AAA, because clearly he's not going to figure it out. The longer he stays doing poorly at the big league level, it probably will hurt him. I think getting sent down will definitely be a big time ego blow, and not even an ego blow. It will pain him. That's tough. This is a guy who made a hullabaloo about, no, I want to go to the major leagues. He cost, the Chipolote Marines millions of dollars because he wanted to go to Major League Baseball early. And for him to not be, at the big league level after, 4 or 5 starts or whatever, I would be embarrassed. I would definitely be embarrassed. But he's going to be better off learning, growing, getting better. And even if they have to do that thing where they kind of like what they do with Noah Syndergaard, and I hate this, not a comp, but it's more of, this was a situation that happened where they kind of just pulled him for the rotation. They did the same thing with Walker last year, pull him from the rotation, but you could still work with him at the big league level. If he's not producing, don't let him hurt himself more. Let him get better without necessarily pitching. It'd almost be like extended spring training, but with the big league club on like an injured, list assignment or something like that. I don't know. We're definitely talking a lot more about Roki than I anticipated, but we haven't talked a good amount of Roki on the channel for a while. And I think after seeing a couple of starts and all that, it's worth the conversation. Just to pin this before we move on, I would say, give him some more time, give him some more look, and then we'll see where we're at the end of April. That's about it.
Yep. Yeah.
Let's take a couple more comments here on that as well. Diane, a couple of things from Diane. One says many commentators are saying he's not going to AAA, but she's of the opinion that he should. I'm not of the opinion he should yet, but again, if he's not getting better after a few starts, then maybe. She also says, guys, I haven't pushed this. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're back on the trail to try to get to 20,000 subscribers, just past 15,000 a couple weeks ago or a week ago, whenever it was, and we appreciate you guys for that. Y'all are very, very awesome. If you guys are looking for a different way to join the conversation and support the channel, become a member on Patreon or here on YouTube members. It's $5 a month. You support independent Dodgers coverage here on the YouTube, and also with that, you get access to our Discord server where we're talking Dodger baseball all day long. That's where I have mostly been while I've been dead and away. I've been popping in with our friends on Discord and keeping people alert. The Discord people know everything that's happening with the channel before anybody else, before even Kevin, honestly, because Kevin doesn't check the Discord enough. So
this is true.
I don't know if enough. I'm not trying to put you in your place, but anyways, again, check that out. $5 a month. If you can't do that, hitting that subscribe button is also another great way to support the channel. We'd appreciate it if you do that. Tell your friends, tell your grandma, hit the voicemail hotline with some things during this season as well. We want to hear from you. You could also text. Discord meetups are happening at games again. We got our first 2 meetups of the season, technically 3, but one of them is kind of not on the radar for everybody because of reasons. But we have meetups as well. If you sign up on Discord or sign up on the Patreon, there's going to be merch, a lot of things. That's it. I just wanted to get all that out there. Moving on, more general thoughts on the first week of games. It was called the, general thoughts on March. This we'll keep quickly. We talked about all these starters. Starters not going beyond 5 innings. So we expected it. The old school baseball fan in me is just like, I kind of hate it. I kind of hate not seeing, like, it feels like Yoshi could have gone 6 on opening day. Definitely Glasnow could have gone deeper yesterday, but that's just not the game that this team is going to play, and it's fine. It's weird. It's frustrating, but that's how this game is going to be. That's also what we said we expected and what we wanted, because we don't want them to injure the pitchers. But then when it comes down to push comes to shove, and I want to see these guys going 5, going 6, being men. But that's not the game anymore, and I think I got to be okay with that.
Yeah, it's not. I think also it's the luxury the organization, the team has when you have a bullpen as good as they do.
That's fair.
There's really no reason when you could just look at anybody, maybe not named Luis Garcia, and just go, yeah, that's just a dog right there. Yep. And even with Tanner Scott and his struggles, it hasn't been catastrophic. Nobody's just, imploded. So there's no reason to stress any of the starting pitchers when you've got, Alex Vesia, Anthony Bonda, Kirby Yates, which God,
how good is that? I can't
remember that time I forgot he was on the team in like January. Yeah, that's not happening again.
No.
Holy crap, that stuff is filthy. But yeah, you got all these guys back there. Like why
Jack
Dreyer. Tyler Glass?
Jack Dreyer looking.
Jack Dreyer's looked really
like
good.
Him.
Ben Experius has looked really good. Like everybody.
And soon let's say we had the conversation too. People being like, the Garcia kid is 38. Somebody, they were complaining about it in a Discord last night. It's like, listen, silver lining is this is just a dude who's around until Evan Phillips is back, until Michael Kopech is back. Some of these guys aren't going to be around even at the end of this month, might not be around the next time this team comes back home to LA. So it's fine for now. The Dodgers so far, they're doing pretty decent with what they have at what are we now? 5-0, 6-0?
6-0.
It's working, so I'm not really too worried about it. Man 5 Dodge trusts Yates more than Scott. Yeah, I mean, Kirby Yates, we were just already did this, but like deserves all the glaze, man. He's just going out there, and he's didn't mention Blake Trinan, by the way, but Kirby Yates has been clinical, just low pitch count innings, just
carving
boom,
up
and splitty looking nasty. One guy, though, Tanner Scott, leaving a little to be desired in the early goings. He talked about it a couple weeks ago or a couple days ago. I think it was after the blown save. It's like, some things are a little behind right now. It looks like he's missing his spots. He's kind of leaving the ball in a little bit, or leaving the ball arm side, not finishing his pitches. But I mean, it's not Kirby Yates. It's Tanner Scott. He's going to get there. I'm not worried about him. He doesn't need to be DFA'd. There are some people in our Discord. I don't know if this helps promote the Discord or not, and I don't know if there's trolling or just really leaning heavy on the overreactions. But yeah, people saying like the Dodgers need to DFA Tanner Scott now. I'm just like, oh no, baby, what is you doing? You're making us all look bad right now.
Yeah,
but
the silver lining with Tanner Scott is his struggles have been against left-handed hitters, which is just not something over his entire career that's ever been a thing. I mean, the Dodgers literally signed him because he kept getting Shohei Ohtani out. It's not like the entire reason, but it's part of it for sure. So yeah, if his struggles are against left-handed pitchers or left-handed hitters, fine with that. He's never been a super, command heavy guy. He's always had the walks. That's just been a part of his game, so he's always gonna miss a little bit. He's just missing more than he normally does. He's gonna be fine. Zero concerns with Tanner Scott right now. Again, with the same conversation we were just having with the starting pitchers not needing to go 5. That's the beauty of having such an insane bullpen. Is who cares how Tanner Scott's doing right now? There are 8 other guys.
Everyone will have their downs and ups.
Yeah, it's just like there's other guys there to do it. If Tanner Scott's not a leverage guy right now, cool, whatever. Yeah, he'll be there eventually.
Man 5 Dodge says until then, close with Kirby. Hey, you can do that. They're throwing Trinan out there. Vesia has one save, 2 saves so far this season.
Put Bonda in there at this point. Bonda looks
He was a
Good
guy
God.
I was a little like, I wasn't say worried about, but he was somebody I was like, look, if the clock strikes
There could be
midnight,
some
I wouldn't be
regression.
surprised. Yeah.
Yep.
Instead, and I even asked him at spring training, it's like, what are you doing to get better? Like what is year 2 with the Dodgers as a full-time big leaguer look like for you? And he's like, just keep on getting better, keep on learning from these guys. And I think, bringing in people like a veteran with the experience of Kirby Yates, which somebody he pointed to, Tanner Scott as well, another lefty in that bullpen that he mentioned. All these things, like the Dodgers do what they do for a reason. Yeah, Kirby Yates and Tanner Scott are both very good for the bullpen, but they're also good guys for the rest of the group to learn from, get better with. You got to add veterans to those younger dudes like Ben Kasparius getting better this spring over the offseason, and so far looking really, really good in the early throes of the regular season as well. We mentioned people talking about the lineup and Michael Conforto not being in there. One of the general thoughts I wanted to say in the first week of games is Michael Conforto, so far so good, showing, giving some signs of, like, you look at this dude's baseball reference page, man, you're like, he was a guy. He was a dude for a short stretch until, what was it, that shoulder injury just like derailed his career so hard. And it makes sense that the power, he hit 15 homers 2 years ago, 20 last year with the Giants. The pop is still there, but it's not the same pop that it was in his early career with the Mets. And we've heard, man, that shit takes time to come back from. Adrian Gonzalez, Matt Kemp coming back from those shoulder injuries and surgeries, missing some of that power and trying to replicate, reproduce, force that power. Cody Bellinger trying to force that power. It just doesn't come. It takes time. It takes time to get that strength back. But yeah, so far, I mean, this dude is looking like just another ho-hum great, not scrap heap signing, of course, but one of those
$17 million is not a scrap
under the radar signings. And what people are complaining about in the chat is like, why are we platooning him? And I think this is less of a platoon right now, even though, we are getting sort of platoon. People got to get in the lineup somehow, some way. Dave loves to keep his guys. What does he say? We're going to keep them relevant. It took until April 1st. Oh, maybe it's a joke. Maybe Chris Taylor actually isn't in the lineup.
That would be so mean. It would be so funny. Oh my, could you imagine? Michael Conforto just runs out to left instead of CT.
That would be so God. Anyway, that's good. I got to be careful to not like overly laugh because that's what it will trigger, like the hacking cough. So I got to be cautious with my reactions here. But anyways, Conforto, a very nice addition, and I think eventually he will play his way into a full-time role. But he hits better. He hit better last year, I think, against lefties. I think his career OPS doesn't he have kind of pretty reasonable splits?
If I remember correctly, he doesn't have like big splits at all. Like he's not like a heavy right versus left guy.
Alex Renteria saying even the torpedo bat can't help CT3. Matty Man 5 Dodge saying that's just mean, man. That's mean.
Oh no, he's a career 703 OPS against left-handed versus a career 840 OPS against right. But last year specifically, he was a lot better. He had like a 145 WRC plus against lefties.
Okay,
he figured
so
something out.
The random,
but it's to your point that, like, if there was ever a day to get Chris Taylor in the lineup, it's against arguably one of, if not the, Tarek Skubal's the best left-hander in the league. Let's be honest, one of the best left-handers in the league, Chris Sale. Like, it's just that's the only way Chris Taylor's getting in this lineup, and it has less to do with Conforto, has more to do with Taylor. So I don't expect. I don't like if this was just if the Dodgers were playing against, I don't know what left-hander the Padres have right now. I'm sure they have one. I can't think. But if they're going against just like a run-of-the-mill left-hander, Conforto's going to be in the lineup. But it's Chris Sale we're talking about, and he's not invincible, but he's really, really tough on left-handers with his crossfire, and he's like basically throwing from first base the way he releases the ball. So that it's something where Yeah, just give him a day. He'll be back in the lineup tomorrow. Spoiler alert, we might see a little more Chris Taylor than we want anyway with Freddie being injured, so just get used to it.
I mean, probably see more Kike, but
Yeah.
maybe not. I don't know. He had to get in there at some point. Last night, he entered the game to play center field in the final inning, and that was the first time he has been a part of a Major League Baseball game this year for the Dodgers. Like the fact that it's taken them a week, 2 weeks or whatever. Yeah, great point. I go ahead and read what you were about to read.
Yeah, OCJ, it's makes a great point. All jokes aside, you need to see what CT3 is bringing to the table this year. It's like it's a really good point. Is there anything left in his bat? We won't know because let's be honest, it's probably not hitting the ball. He's just gonna miss.
George says CT3
him and Rafael Devers need to start a club.
Oof. CT3 is bringing a chair to the table. Because he's going right back to sitting his ass down. Listen, man, we said it before the season as well. I'm really hoping Chris Taylor finds something. He didn't show a lot in spring training that said maybe he's getting close to finding something. You hope to God he does, because otherwise he's literally just what he's been so far, a wasted roster spot. That could have been Hunter Fiducia, where maybe you can save yourself an Austin Barnes at bat here and there, which they already had to do, and it worked out. Pinch hitting Will Smith on his birthday, pinch hit RBI for Smitty, which was huge. But Austin Barnes, you could tell, like it's Austin Barnes, man. He's a year older. He's not gonna ever be good at this point. Like I would give me three catchers.
I will never forget in I think it was like 17, 18, and I was just begging my dad for more Austin Barnes at bats. I was like, get AJ Ellis out of the lineup, please.
Well, 17, that was 17, right? Like he was great. He was really good that year.
He wasn't great, but he was better than AJ Ellis.
Well,
better than Clinton's best friend.
Knowing where catchers were at that time, like hitting 270 that year with 11 homers, like that was really good.
Yeah.
I think that was 17.
It was.
Ellis was traded before, and then Yasmani passed ball. Anyway, that whole era. I do want to talk more Chris Taylor and the lineup and the Chris Sale and spinning forward. But one last thing I wanted to kind of throw in here and the general thoughts. This is my final general thought on the first week of games. This gives us an opportunity to drop out a bold prediction. Here's one just bold prediction based on the first week of games. I'll go first, and I think people will appreciate it. My bold prediction is third base will be all Kike Hernandez or a platoon with Kike by season's end, likely much sooner, because the early goings, small sample size, but the early goings of what we're seeing out of Max Muncy at the plate, a little concerning. I believe in Max. I talked to Max in spring training. He says he's feeling good. He says, his goal is 40 homers this year. How about 40 hits first before we get to 40 homers? But like,
if he gets to 40 homers before he gets to 40 hits, I'll eat a shoe.
Not a shoey. Also, we saw how good Kike was at third base last year, and getting back into or lending it to what I just said a couple minutes ago about like Chris Taylor. Like, you got to get these guys in the lineup, and that's why Conforto's sort of like the platoon guy. If there's a platoon at third base, then there's more guaranteed playing time for Kike or CT3 or Miggy Rowe or whatever. We haven't seen Miggy Rowe, since or that much. He's kind of played sparingly. It's talking about 4 games since Tokyo or whatever. So everything extremely small sample sizes and whatever. And this is why it's a bold prediction. But I don't think Max Muncy's your everyday starter by the season's end. So that's my bold prediction. Do you either want to just fire off into yours or add more thoughts to this?
No, I'll just quickly add on to yours. I think it needs to be a platoon at this point. We're coming up on, assuming trends follow, a third year of Max being a well below average bat against left-handed pitching. So, and you have Kike just literally sitting there. He's better defensively, even if it's not by a lot. He's better defensively, and he can see. So, apparently that's all that he needed. But Kike looks good. He injects a lot of energy into the lineup. Max will be fine. He goes through these stretches. I have full faith in Max Muncy. I just every time he's hit a roadblock, he's just come back from it, or they've forced him off first base to second base. He looked good there. They forced him to third base. He's gotten better. His bat, even after that freak injury against the Brewers back in 22, like he's looked good the whole, like he's kind of come back around. So I think he'll figure it out, but I agree. It does need to be a platoon. My bold prediction is I do think Roki is going to need some time at AAA. I know I just talked about, it's easier for him to acclimate to the major league game at the major league level, of course. But I think I think if he continues to basically show what he's shown, which is like he can't get out of the second inning, he's walking guys left and right. When you have Tony Gonsolin just kind of like sitting there, breathing down his neck, like I don't know if you can, in good faith, run out Roki Sasaki with Tony Gonsolin, who's like definitely earned his opportunity with this club. Let's not forget, like Tony Gonsolin's a damn good pitcher. Yeah, I don't know, like he's infuriating for people like me who like underlying metrics because I don't get how he does it, but he just does it. With him there and Roki really struggling, if it comes down to after the Cubs, I think the Cubs will be his fourth start. If after that fourth start he doesn't make it out of that, like not even just clean, he just shows more of the same, I think there's a real conversation that needs to be had that's like, okay, you need to get out of the spotlight and just work a little bit. Yeah. Let's give Tony some time to, get back into the rhythm of things. And then these things always figure themselves out. Somebody needs a breather on the IL. Don't come after me, Rob. And, I just think he might and probably will need a little bit of time there. And it's not a bad thing. It's totally fine.
You said you don't know how Tony Gonsolin gets away with it, how he's able to do what he does. It's because he's got cat class and he's got cat style.
Yeah, he doesn't have cat hair anymore. He shaved his head.
He does not have cat hair.
Or no, somebody else shaved his head. I forget who it was.
He don't bother chasing mice around. Oh, no. Anyways, there's some stray cats for you guys if you guys want that for some reason here on this Tuesday edition of the show. And we're back and we're alive and I still don't feel great, but we feel good enough to have a good time here. I really wanted to go back to this comment before we move on and talk about today's game a little bit more, but I liked Andy and Shannon's comment. So that's a 4-star general thought. At ease. Appreciate that. Alex Renteria going back to Muncy. This has to be Muncy's last year as a starter. Next year he can come off the bench with his team-friendly $10 million per year. And he's already said, I agree with that. He's already said he's open to open to a bench role. I think it makes sense. And if we start phasing him into it, if the team starts phasing him into it sooner rather than later, I would not be shocked.
Yeah, beauty of this organization, this club, what Andrew Friedman's built, you guys just got a bunch of selfless guys. A lot of guys that are they'll play their role. And, if Muncy's cool with it, awesome. I like, he's kind of like, what else is there for him to do? Honestly, he's won his rings. He's been one of the most prolific sluggers this game has seen. He's built himself back up from playing in the Mexican League to, being an all-star at first base. It basically should be an all-star at third base, but, you have some other just insanely good third basemen like Manny Machado blocking his way. So if he's cool with it, awesome. There's another Japanese player that'd be really happy to stick at third base next year. So,
not ready. I'm not ready.
Left-handed.
God, I'm not ready.
Need another left-handed third baseman. I know a guy.
Johnny Cage in the chat saying, didn't Tony Gonsolin have a setback? Yeah, he had, I guess, a little incident lifting weights. The Dodgers took a little bit of liberties, it seems like. He kind of made it seem like he probably didn't need that IL stint to open the season, but they gave him that opportunity, and he's going to, as he said, continue working on some things with his delivery and everything. So he's eligible. As soon as he's eligible, he'll be off the IL. They just got to figure out how to get him on. Another thing, though, to kind of figure out, or not figure out, sorry. Another thing that's potentially working against him is he is a guy who does have an option. He's the guy who has one option year left. And if he's already starting the season kind of on the IL, like, as much as that would suck, if he's already not a part of the team, it's that much easier for them to justify, like, hey, look, right now we have so many bodies. We just need you to build up innings. We need to see what we have up here right now. And I would be livid if I was him.
I would be pissed.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed because there's
cat fight right
everybody in this rotation, besides Roki Sasaki, is just building up innings. We're seeing, I guess technically Dustin May too. Can he still be a starter? Yeah. But my point is Dustin May's, he can't get sent down anyway. So if he's not a starter, he's in the bullpen. So you're not freeing up a 26-man roster spot that way. It comes down to Roki, and Tony Gonsolin's he's earned that spot, like I said. So I better see him on that roster. I'm excited to see him pitch again. I said, I don't know how he does it, but he's fun to watch on the mound. He's really fun.
I will say that's a perfect. That's supposed to be
segue.
Okay. There it is. There's the perfect segue into this. I'm excited to see. You're excited to see Tony Gonsolin pitch again. I'm excited to see Dustin May pitch again because April begins with May. Let's spin forward here. Let's talk more about tonight. We've already talked around it. Atlanta Braves again playing your Los Angeles Dodgers, and expectations for today. We've already kind of laid this out a little bit. I don't have a very strong feeling, like a very good feeling for the Dodgers in this one.
I don't either.
I think the streak ends today because Atlanta's hungry. They are angry. They see all the headlines talking crap. They just lost their cheating left fielder. We'll talk about in a second. Unless we want to just have some fun with it now, Mr. Irrelevant. But it's going to be an angry win. Get your ace on the bump, like you already said. Chris Sale on the bump. Chris Taylor in the lineup for the first time, working against the Dodgers. Plus, we're live again, so the Dodgers are destined to lose. And Freddie remains sidelined, probably not in the lineup until Friday. I don't know, man. Signs don't feel good for me. It's just a bad omen.
Yeah, it's just naturally. You have the reigning Cy Young winner against the guy who hasn't pitched in, I think, what Orel said, 680 some odd days last night. Like, it's been a minute since he's been able to pitch. Dustin May, that is. So who knows what we get out of him? I mean, you want to talk about emotions running high. If he could find the strike zone, I wouldn't be surprised if he can't, because he's going to be hunting for that first K. He wants it bad. So we really don't know what we're going to get out of him. Chris Sale's always been tough for the Dodgers at any point. I don't really care too much about the Muncy versus Chris Taylor thing. I actually think that's kind of a wash at this point with Muncy in his early showings and his struggles against left-handed pitching. I think that Chris Taylor's, about the same. It's a lateral move. I think missing Freddie is a bigger issue. So, but yeah, I don't see it. We were joking about it before we came on. The lineup is really funny because it's just every right-handed bat the team has. It's the lineup, which it's okay. We see the strategy. It's just get all the righties in there. I think if the Dodgers, I think this is a game that the Braves will lose more than the Dodgers would win. I think the Braves just have to not hit, which I don't see happening. But
yeah, there's your very heavily right-handed lineup.
Every righty on the bench. Every righty they got.
I do like Mickey Rowe at third base. It's something that always just feels good to me about Mickey Rowe at third base. Kike has been playing a very, very nice first base position. He says he doesn't practice at all because first base is just that easy. As a pro 1B like me, I agree. Mookie in there, Tommy Edman in that 2-hole. We know Tommy can just play anywhere and not be a problem for this team. Yeah, listen, we know Chris Taylor's got to be in this lineup. We've already talked about that. Ohtani's going to be in there every single day. It feels to me like he's starting to just teeter into pressing a little bit. So we'll need to I want to see a good game out of him against Chris Sale. Just, like Dave Roberts said, I think a couple times last year, just use a few different clubs in the bag. Just kind of shoot the ball to the outfield. You don't need to crank 500-foot homers right now. We just keep the line.
That's all he knows.
That's a very fair point right there. But yeah, Dustin May, try not to do too much as well. You're saying he's going to be chasing that K. He should be chasing zeros instead. However he can get them. Use that defense. He has a really good defense behind him. That much
he does
is for sure.
This
is elite defense behind you.
This is arguably the Dodgers' best defensive lineup.
Which is funny because we're talking about Andy Pages. We didn't talk about that. I avoided it. I did have it on the rundown. Pages kind of looking okay in center field so far.
Yeah,
he made
the one good catch at the wall, which in spring training I think he had a similar play and he missed it entirely. So
he played left field on opening day, and he had that one thank God he caught it because it would have been real bad if he didn't. But
I blame Ice Cube for that one. I think driving on the track screwed up the dirt because he just slipped.
I'm really surprised they had Ice Cube driving that car.
I couldn't believe that. That was insane.
And when he was getting close to all the dignitaries and shit off the dugout, and I'm like, are people gonna maybe move back a little bit? Give bruh some room, man. He's gonna run your ass down here. But all in all, great opening day for.
He's looked. Pages, to get back on point, Pages has looked better, which is a really low bar because I don't know if the Dodgers have had a worse center field defensively, at least in recent memory. So he's looked better, not good, just better.
OCJ doesn't believe, says no, he isn't. Still a train wreck in the outfield. Listen, perceptively fringy better. Let's give him a couple more weeks, and then we'll start looking at some, hammering in some metrics and whatnot. We'll see how people or how the numbers actually view him, but perceptively, he looks a little bit better for me. The first steps are slightly better, and
he's still overrunning the ball a little bit,
and he's making the plays. The important thing is he's making the plays he needs to make, and that's the most important thing he's got to be doing right now. But a few people were disagreeing with our thoughts that I wouldn't call this isn't a trap game, but the
Braves are a good team. This is not a trap game.
Yeah. The Braves are definitely a good team, but good team. Dodgers are. They're facing, I think, an uphill battle just in a couple of ways, even though they shouldn't be. There's nothing really out there outside of just how baseball works. The Braves haven't won a game. Dodgers have won all the games. Chris Sale getting his second start of the season. Their ace, the Cy Young Award, defending Cy Young Award winner of the National League. A lot of things are stacked against the Dodgers, in my opinion, and your opinion and the opinions of others. I didn't watch. I know Alana was on with my buddy Greg Bergman, today. I couldn't join. Greg gave me shit about it, but apparently Alana also feeling that today is not doesn't stack up well for the Dodgers. Johnny Cage says Dodgers go 8-0.
That'd be really, really nice. Give me one second.
Are we looking at numbers?
Here. I'm looking at.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to tell people to hit that like button and subscribe button because why not?
Why not? If you were interested, despite the uphill struggles that we're talking about, if you were to go to Bet Online, they have the Dodgers at minus 195 for tonight.
Oh, all right.
That, and that's basically in my brain. Don't touch the game because that's that. You're not getting. There's not a lot of value to be had there, but they believe the Dodgers are still heavy favorites despite the struggles and the pitching matchup for tonight, which I think is as pretty lopsided as a pitching matchup will get at all this year for the Dodgers.
Yeah, probably. Just
maybe
because
Roki's pitching, but
just because we don't know, we really don't know what
Assuming health,
we haven't seen Dustin May on a big league mound since mid 2023.
Yeah, but going up against a Cy Young, the reigning Cy Young winner, this is as lopsided as it'll get, I think, for the Dodgers. We've already faced one Cy Young, now we're getting the other one. So
yeah,
Dodgers even with that.
Dodgers are beating good pitchers so far.
Which is not something they're used to doing, if we're being honest.
I like what you said. Let's just stop talking about it. Let's go. Let's walk away from it. Let's quickly have some fun here. I do have a voicemail from Richie, and I want to talk just quickly about the other like MLB headlines of Torpedo bats. We already talked around that a little bit. Freddie Freeman says, "Fuck that noise. He's never going to use one of those bats. He's been using his bat for 15 years." And I agree. 16 years. I agree with Freddie. Love Freddie for saying it. Chris Taylor, please, God, get him a bat immediately. Get him one of these. Get Max Muncy one of these immediately. How did these bats come out of nowhere, for one?
Well, they've been around for a year, supposedly.
I heard... go ahead.
The weird quote, I don't know if it was DV. It was a quote from David Vassay saying that the Dodgers were like, they were as surprised as anyone, which I don't think the Dodgers could ever be surprised by anything. Like in this category of like technology that advances the game, or like in the category of technology that would benefit a team, like the Dodgers are pretty much on the forefront and the cutting edge of everything. I don't know if I buy that they were surprised, but it's pretty crazy how it just overtook every headline, on every main platform. Everyone's talking about.
Well, I mean, what, 15 homers in the first series or something like that for the Yankees?
Yeah, but Aaron Judge didn't use the bat.
Aaron Judge is a monster.
I know. I'm just saying he's just good. Like, Shohei's not using it. Tommy Edman isn't using it. By the way,
can somebody take away Jazz Chisholm's Twitter? Like, maybe just tell him, hey, bro, let's sit this next one out. You don't need it.
We'll have Miggy Rowe pour some milk on his Twitter or something. Cut it up.
My take on these is, it's helping a problem for bad hitters.
Yeah.
You get jammed. You're casting the bat out a lot more, and you're getting jammed. Now you're moving the jam up. And I mean, it also at the same time, it just makes a lot of sense, because even hitting good wood off the end of the bat doesn't do shit. It just rattles and hurts your hands. But it doesn't really, the baseball doesn't really fly. So it's like, I'm going to have my cake and eat it too on this one, where I kind of hate them, but I'm very excited to see them in Dodgers' hands, especially Max Muncy and Kike, or not Max Muncy and the other guy, Chris Taylor.
Yeah. I don't hate them. They're fine. They're whatever. They like with anything, if you move the barrel, guess what? You get exposed in other ways. Now you're more susceptible to an outside pitch. There's been talks that it could slow down your bat speed depending on, just because of where the weight is shifted, you're not able to swing it as fast because it's closer to your hand. The weight is closer to your hands. So it's got its drawbacks like anything. It's not illegal. It's perfectly fine. It's funny looking. I'll tell, like the one still shot of Jazz with the bat, and it looks like the old school DeMarini bats. The huge bear. It looks like one of those. It's just really funny, but they're not illegal. And until they are, I don't care.
I love throwing these together because you say it's funny looking, and people in the comments are having some fun right now saying, Andy and Shannon, size doesn't matter. Cole, get that good wood. That's what she said. George, having good wood isn't enough. You got to know how to use it. But it's funny looking.
Yep.
Man, the torpedoes, man.
Hey, man, you know what? Chris Taylor, he should have been the first one to order one of these things because he needs something. Maybe just Jesus, but he needs something. It's just...
Don't kill me.
If it's an issue, it's an issue. And it's fine. Other sports do it. You get, I think Trevor Plouffe brought up a good point. Golfers get fitted for clubs.
That's fair.
Batters should get fitted for bats. And sometimes people just don't like it because it doesn't feel right. And that's fine.
Yeah.
So there's a drawback to everything. We're still talking about baseball barely, loosely, one side of it.
Loosely. Another thing, Lynn retired today. No, it's not an April Fool's joke. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because, one, he still somehow just served up another homer. But two, I do believe we should salute the man. I would tip my cap, but I'm wearing my headphones here. But and I've seen a few people already throw this out there. It was one of the first things I thought, but he was just so incredibly bad for the Dodgers in 2023 in his postseason start, and everything was so bad for the Dodgers in 2023 that I think Lance Lynn being so bad is really what kicked off the Dodgers just going out and buying everybody era. And thank you. So basically the point is thank you for your service, Lance Lynn, and all the homers and all the badness of that 2023 postseason run for giving us Shohei and Yama and Blake Snell and Glasnow and everybody else in between.
Yeah, I know we clown on Lance Lynn a lot for it. I
rightfully so
don't believe that's the case necessarily. The Dodgers had made it very apparent that they weren't spending money that offseason. They were gearing up for the 2024
Don't
season.
let facts get in the way of a good story.
But okay, now my final point on it was, however, I think it did go so bad that they're like, we under no circumstances can let this happen again.
Yeah.
Like they were like, okay, we were planning on doing this anyway. Let's just make sure that we do it.
And it's funny. This team definitely, like, this is a whole other conversation we could have a different day, but how much more success this team could have had over the last 10, 15 years if they had just a little more pitching, like a little bit more stronger pitching, not just some guys that we're excited about. Not, I can't think of any names right now, but, going back to like that even the 2021 rotation could have been better. Like if Bauer wasn't a piece of shit and Urias, well, I guess he was fine that year. If they had like one more person, if Max Scherzer wasn't a piece of shit, if Clayton Kershaw, his elbow, his
also
forearm
hurt
didn't
again.
explode.
I'm sure that's Dave's fault somehow. His Latin flame.
Yeah,
that's
course.
Dave's fault.
Yeah, of course. So anyways, now I don't want to get too much into that. The final thing I wanted to talk about is just thank Lance Lynn, and again, don't let facts get in the way of a good story. But here's a good story. Mr. Irrelevant, Jurickson Profar suspended 80 games. What a piece of crap that guy is for juicing.
Couldn't happen to a better person.
What'd they say? They said it's the stuff that the masking agent.
It's the masking agent.
But what Manny Ramirez got caught for in 2009. You gotta love that. You gotta love Jurickson Profar, just one of the douchebags, one of the dicks in Dodger lore in recent memory. Getting some form of comeuppance, coming off of his best year of his career. It's poetic.
Yeah, giving Brock Purdy a bad name. It's getting popped for a steroid. When Tatis got popped for close to ball, and he had the whole ringworm theory. There are creams that are used for like rehabilitation, right? Now a masking agent, there is there's one sole purpose for a masking agent, and I know he came out and said I would never knowingly do this. It's a masking agent. Like, what do you mean? There's only one reason to be taking a masking agent, and it's because you did something and are trying to hide it. So yeah. I think the manner in which he got caught is pretty funny. I remember thinking a lot about how the Dodgers, kind of the Lakers problem of everybody seems to get healthy around the Dodgers. Guys will come back. They'll always catch their best pitchers. Last year, the Dodgers faced Paul Skeens twice. The Padres didn't face him once. And I think this was just kind of funny that he got popped for this right when they were about to play the Dodgers. And can you imagine if he got to just play last night and then got popped today? Oh my God. Oh, it would have been pandemonium at the ravine, but it would have been so funny.
Now that's good story telling right there.
If he ever plays at Dodger State, if he ever, which he still technically has a contract, so he could play at Dodger Stadium next year. He's not eligible for the postseason, so if the Dodgers play the Braves in the postseason, still won't see him. Next year, I will expect boos as loud as I heard for Altuve.
Oh yeah,
they were going
to happen regardless, but now there's going to be boos and there's going to be cheater, steroids. Yeah,
it's the same thing. Yep, we had the cheat. Yeah, it's going to be
Guys, hit that
Bring
like
earplugs.
button. Hit that like
Don't
button
bring your
if
kid.
you really want to boo Jerks and Profar next year at Dodger Stadium. Hit that like button if you believe last year the whole pomp and circumstance during the postseason was because of his roid rage. That's all I got.
It's so funny. It's so funny. It's so ironic. It's like, of course it's him. Like, of course. Like, it's so unsurprising. The guy who magically gets a 135 WRC plus, his, all of his batted ball data shoots up like a skyrocket. It's just,
yeah. Oh God. Our buddy Richie Flores had some thoughts about Jerks and Profar, so we're gonna listen to Richie and then we'll get out of here.
Hide your kids.
I wasn't expecting that.
Profar gets nailed for PED. Oh, that's funny shit. Well, hey, Clint. Hope you're feeling better. Hey, so happy whenever this voicemail is being played. What a weekend. We get our rings. We sweep the Tigers. We get a walk-off home run from Mookie. Oh, my God. But it was really cold at Dodger Stadium this weekend, dude. It was colder than my sister-in-law's personality. But what a great weekend, and this is just the icing on the cake. The cherry on top. It is just, life is beautiful, my friend. Oh, God, it's great to be alive. Well, anyway, fuck the Dodger Stadium parking lot. Fuck Manny Machado. Fuck the T's. Oh, the hell with it. Fuck Profar and Tatis, too. And while we're at it, fuck the Ghost Runner. See ya.
Hey, big shout out. I think that was good. That was some gold right there from Richie.
That was his best Stephen A. Smith impression. That was fantastic.
Oh God. Oh, that is good. That is really good.
I had to sit back in my chair and just enjoy that one a bit.
Just enjoy. Thank you for calling into the show, guys. If you guys want to call in, leave a voicemail, 562-373-4095. We're going to start figuring out when and how and where we're doing post-game shows during the season, so stay tuned. More content coming. As you can see, I'm somewhat back. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us on the show today. Sorry I died for so long, but I will be back, or we are back. That's the point. Any final thoughts before we sign off here officially?
Yeah, I don't think the Red Sox are playing today, which makes me sad because I wanted to see if Devers would strike out again.
He's real bad. I hear he's fat. I hear he's real fat.
He doesn't.
He doesn't look skinny.
Mark DeRosa was breaking down like his swing changes, and like he was comparing it last year to this year, and trust me, it wasn't the swing changes I was noticing.
Oh, God. Red Sox going to Red Sox. At least they got Garrett Crochet.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Good for them. Hey.
Guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all the questions, the comments, the engagement, hanging out with us here on the chat. Thank you so much for, I think we had one super chat from our friend Richie. Thank you, Richie, for your $4.99 super chat. Guys, super chat do directly help us fund the show, fund us, all that kind of stuff. So they do mean a lot to us. Another way that you can support the show financially, if you're interested, is Patreon and YouTube members. $5 a month to join, and with that tier, you get access to our Discord server where you're joining a bunch of Dodgers fans talking about the games, talking about stuff all year long. There's meetups, there's going to be merch, all that kind of stuff. There's also here on YouTube a 99-cent tier if you just want the emojis that are fun. I got to add more emojis. But beyond that, if you can't support with money, support by watching, support by clicking that thumbs up, sharing the video, subscribing, all that kind of stuff really does help out the channels. Shout out to our mods for doing a kick-ass job in the chat, as you always do. All Dodgers is presented by Bet Online. Go do Bet Online things. MLB is here. You can do bets there. That is producer Kevin. Give him a follow. At Skinner7Kevin on the Twitter. I am RealFRG on all the things. All those links are in the description to everything I just said and more. Subscribing is completely free to the channel. Clicking links is completely free as well. Anyways, that's about it. Okay, bye.